Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Tamra Judge from RHOC throws a thrilling Traitors party. On The Real Housewives of Orange County Season 18, Episode 8, Tamra Judge put together a celebration inspired by the hit series, Traitors, and it was an absolute hit. Tamra invited Shannon Storms Beater, Gina Kirschenheiter, Katie Janella, Jennifer Padranti, Heather Dubrow, Emily Simpson, and former RHHOC member Vicky Gunvalson to her party. Unfortunately, my experience on the show The Traitors was too short, so I wanted to have a Traitors experience for the girls, Tamra said during an interview, and maybe just for me to relive it a little bit. What is a Traitors party? Imagine this. Charming outfits, a Scottish setting, and rainy weather. All Tamra needed then was a host. The host picks the traitor for the entire game. You have to figure out who the traitor is, Tamra explained. There's missions, and you can be murdered. It's just a mind game, is what it really is. Who could replace Alan Cummings' role for Tamra's festivities? Why? The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills alum Teddy Mellencamp-Arroyav, of course. The group had a mixed reaction to this, but Tamra believed that Teddy would not disappoint. To get the game going, Teddy had the girls fill out questionnaires, which would determine who would be the deceiver amongst them. Teddy's poll included questions about the other women like, who is the biggest liar? And who is the most judgmental? Once everyone turned in their answers, the girls put on eye masks, pushed in earplugs, and then it was up to the host to make her decision. Teddy then started to walk slowly around the table, tapping a cane twice behind every seat. That led up to one person receiving 3 taps, which determined the deceiver. The wives were then turned loose on the rental house to get drinks and catch up. Murder amidst the Housewives of Orange County. Next, the host split the women in 3 groups to start a game of Who Knows the Housewives Best, which they played over dinner. During this game, the women guessed which names came up most for the questions earlier. Jen and Shannon's team won, and they received immunity. They could not be murdered by the secret traitor that first round. That meant the first person that was out was, no it couldn't be, Tamra Judge. The traitor, whose identity was hidden, had an interview of her own. What the hell, Teddy? She said. I pointed at Vicky to be murdered. To fix this problem, Teddy announced a second murder, Shannon. Then the group pulled out a piece of paper to see who would be dead next, which was Vicky. The evening was set to be epic. Tamra Judge's party invitation had arrived with a mysterious flourish, promising a night of betrayal and intrigue. It was a tantalizing departure from the usual glitz and glam parties of the OC. This was no ordinary get-together. It was a traitor's party, and the invitation read in blood-red letters, "Trust no one." By the time the guests pulled up to Tamra's lavish Coto de Casa home, the air was already electric. Her expansive backyard had been transformed into a scene out of a spy movie. Black and bold decor was set against the shimmering pool, with eerie candlelit lanterns casting shadows over every corner. Fog machines spilled mist across the ground, giving it an ominous, almost haunted quality. An array of props, daggers, vintage masks, and hooded cloaks lay in wait, begging to be worn. Tamra herself looked the part of the perfect villainess in a sleek black gown, with dark makeup and a glittering diamond tiara that gave her a dark, queenly aura. She surveyed the crowd with a smirk as the housewives made their grand entrances, each embodying their own take on treachery. There was Shannon in a sequined trench coat and fox spy gear, Heather in a sleek, Bond girl-inspired jumpsuit, and even Gina, who'd gone all out with a cat burglar aesthetic, complete with black leather gloves and a sly grin. "Ladies," Tamra called out as the group gathered around her. "Welcome to the first annual RHOC Traitors Party. Tonight it's all about deception, betrayal, and of course, backstabbing in the best way possible." Everyone laughed, though a few side glances suggested the theme hit close to home. After all, the OC was no stranger to shifting alliances and feuds, and the line between real and playful tension was always paper-thin. Tamra clinked her glass, silencing the chatter. "Here's how this is going to work. Throughout the night, you'll each be assigned tasks to complete. Some of you might find yourself sneaking around, gathering intel, or even staging a few betrayals of your own. But beware. There's a traitor among us." At this, a hushed gasp rippled through the crowd. "That's right, one of you has already been assigned the role of the ultimate traitor, Simone, who'll work against the rest of you all night. If you think you know who it is by the end of the night, you'll win a very special prize. But remember, trust no one." She paused, enjoying the drama of it all. And with that, the game was on. Each guest received a small envelope with their task, each designed to sow seeds of suspicion. Emily's eyes widened as she read hers: spread a rumor about someone at the party and get at least 3 people to believe it. Meanwhile, Gina's task had her grinning mischievously: convince someone to switch alliances with you before the night is over. And Shannon's had her practically giddy: find out who each guest's least favorite OC castmate is, without them knowing. The party quickly descended into an absurdly entertaining chaos. Emily sidled up to Heather, nonchalantly letting slip that she'd heard Shannon was thinking about moving to Lay. Heather's eyebrows shot up. "Really? She's been complaining about the OC air quality, but I didn't think she'd actually do it," Heather murmured, glancing over at Shannon, who was blissfully unaware, chatting with Gina. Tamra watched from her throne-like chair, sipping her wine and observing the subtle, and sometimes not so subtle, gamesmanship with a smirk. Her role as hostess was simply to enjoy the havoc she'd unleashed and make sure everyone was having a wickedly good time. She chuckled as she overheard Gina casually ask Shannon if she had any secrets she might want to share. "Oh, Gina, please," Shannon scoffed, though she gave a wry smile. In this group, secrets don't last an hour. Meanwhile, Heather and Emily were locked in their own battle of wits. Emily was trying to bait Heather into admitting she'd secretly texted Gina last week to catch up, without telling the rest of the group, but Heather wasn't budging. "Oh, darling, I don't need to sneak around. I make my allegiances clear," she quipped, though her tone suggested there was a bit more going on. As the night wore on, Tamra introduced a new twist: the Betrayer's Diary, a notebook, decorated with fox gold chains and splattered with what looked like blood, was passed around. Each guest was required to write down their suspicions, anonymously of course, and leave it somewhere in the party. The twist: at any time, someone could steal the diary and rewrite the entries, changing names or adding fake accusations. Shannon was the first to snatch up the diary, scrawling a dramatic note that suggested Gina was the traitor. By the time Heather got her hands on it, she'd added another line hinting that Emily was a backstabber based on some suspicious interactions she'd observed that night. Each woman who picked up the diary found a new accusation or altered version of events, making it nearly impossible to know who was the real culprit. Tamra's laughter filled the night as the ladies tried, and mostly failed, to keep their cool. The diary had been Tamra's idea from the start, a way to stoke the fires of paranoia and keep everyone guessing. As midnight approached, Tamra gathered everyone around for the big reveal. "All right, ladies, who do you think was the traitor tonight?" The accusations flew almost immediately. Shannon pointed a finger at Gina, who laughed it off and turned to accuse Heather, who rolled her eyes and insisted it was Emily, citing the secret moves she'd made during the night. Emily smirked and shot back that it had to be Shannon, because she'd been seen sneaking around with the diary. Finally, Tamra raised her hands, signaling silence. "All right, here's the truth. The traitor was me." The group erupted in gasps and laughter. "I knew it," Shannon declared, though her surprise was evident. Tamra grinned, reveling in the chaos she caused. "That's right, ladies. I've been orchestrating little clues and stirring up trouble all night," Tamra confessed, laughing. "Consider it a lesson in trust. The truth is, in the OC, it's every woman for herself." As the laughter subsided, the night wound down with newfound camaraderie, or at least as much camaraderie as was possible for the Housewives. By the time the guests headed home, the alliances had shifted, some cracks were mended, and others subtly deepened. But they all left with one lingering thought. Tamra's game had a way of reminding them that, in this circle, trust was a luxury none of them could truly afford. As she watched her friends' cars disappear into the night, Tamra toasted herself with the last of her wine, a self-satisfied smile playing on her lips. The party had been a resounding success, and she couldn't wait to see what ripple effects her night of harmless betrayal would have in the days to come. After all, in the OC, the real drama always lingered just beneath the surface, waiting to strike.